long run. That's my cat's tail. Let's wait till she, can you figure it out? Come on, I love you. All right, let's try this again. My life, everybody. All right, 3, 2, 1. You're a resident tough cookie, and today we're going to talk about my running essentials for long runs, marathon runs, and any kind of endurance workouts that you're going to be doing. Endurance workouts for me means any workout, run, anything that lasts for longer than 60 minutes. You're probably going to need to take a break and replenish fluids, electrolytes, sugars, carbohydrates, and make sure your body's not falling apart. So I have a huge gym bag that I carry around with me wherever I go. Long runs included. I keep it in my car. It has a big satchel in here that has a lot of my running essentials. And if you're a long distance endurance runner or athlete in general, you probably already have a few staples that you're used to, and that's great. If there's something that you haven't heard of before, or you're just new into running or new into endurance races and have questions about some of the things, please always feel free to shoot me an email or leave your questions in the comments below. And if you think that there's something better that I should be using, I'm always open to suggestions. So this is just stuff that I use on a day-to-day basis whenever I work out outside or do any kind of running. Okay, that was a long-winded way to tell you that I use sunscreen. There are 2 sunscreens that I use. This one is SPF 50 because I just turn pink. I don't tan at all, even though I'm half Italian, which is weird. This is SPF 50. This has no zinc. I think that's what that means. It's really, really tacky. So I like to use this just on my face, and I like to use it with a moisturizer that has an SPF 15 just to make sure that I am fully covered. And if you have time during a race where you're not so sweaty, because all of this tends to sweat off, which is why I like to use one that's super tacky and really gets into your skin. You want to make sure that you're using sunscreen on your face or your body 30 minutes before you go out. An hour if you have time. Just kind of sit there and let it soak into your skin, because if you just put it on and go out for a run, it's going to sweat off really easily. So I use 2 types of sunscreens. One is for my face, and then one is for my body. Now this one I use as a spray because I am what? Lazy. I don't like to just rub it on my hands and put it on my arms. I just go outside of the car. I do this. Plus, I'm by myself a lot, so it's really easy to get the back of my neck. I don't run without a shirt on, so there's no reason for me to do my stomach, but you can do your stomach if you like. This is SPF 30. Again, they have travel size ones that you can put in your running satchel or your water bag that you can reapply after every hour you've been outside. Again, if you're racing and you don't have time, that's completely fine. A lot of races happen really early in the morning when there's a lot of overcast. So that's sunscreen, face, body. If you don't like sunscreen, if for some reason you tan really nicely and are impervious to what the sun does to you, hats. Hats are always a beautiful thing to have. I like to run in visors since a lot of the heat radiates out of the top of your head. I have a lot of visors. I have a lot of visors. So I still have the sun shade for my eyes. Again, if you're racing or running during the summer, it's nice to run early in the morning when the sun is not so high in the sky. So probably near the end of your run, the sun's going to be directly in your eyes, depending on where you run or how long you run. So this is great. Hat, visors, sunglasses. I have a really weird shaped face, so I don't like to wear sunglasses. Plus they leave a really weird sunburn if you are out for very long. So my thing I like to do are hats or visors. If sunscreen is absolutely something you don't really even want to think about or do, this is worst case scenario. The next thing I have in my little bag is a whole bunch of Band-Aids, Neosporin, and pain relieving gel. I carry this with me no matter what. No matter how many times you've run in your socks that you've run on your long runs continuously, you know how they feel on your feet, your shoes, your sports bras, your pants, whatever. No matter how many times you've run in that pair of whatever it is, they're is a huge possibility. You can get a, what do you call it? You can get chafing, definitely, or a blister. And I have had so many blisters. So I have every type of Band-Aid imaginable. I have big Band-Aids, I have small Band-Aids, I have shot, like those little tiny ones that you can just stick on after you get after a shot. I also have icy hot. I'm not a big fan of the way that it comes like this. I prefer these patches. Oh my God, these have saved my life. They are huge. You can get them in 2 sizes, or you can get them in any, these are for your lower back, but I use them for my quads. They're large. You take them off, you just slap them right on your quads or wherever it is, your glutes, your hamstrings, whatever, right after a race, after you've showered. And they last for about 8 hours. These have saved my life. They really decrease the amount of soreness that I have. So if you don't want to do this, there's definitely this. Either one is great. You can probably rub this on your calves or your quads right after a race. I run in pants, so it's a little hard for me to put this on after a race. But these, oh my God, this is like my favorite thing in the world. So that's for after your run. I don't recommend doing it during, because depending on what you're wearing, they might run off, and the smell is really pungent. Okay, another thing that I like to carry around with me is Imodium. I know this sounds really, really gross, but for your runs, I have a very sensitive stomach, and if you think about how you run, you have a continuous, sometimes, especially if you're running really, really fast, there's a lot of bouncing, there's a lot of buoyancy. For me, I like to drink coffee before a race to clean myself out. I'm trying to be polite as possible with this. After you've done that, after you've had your breakfast, after you clean yourself out, after you are ready to go, I highly recommend taking this. Pepto-Bismol works okay. I like this a whole lot better. I cramp up in my stomach so easily, especially for my ladies out there, especially around that time of the month or PMS time. My stomach is a mess. So if I need to get a long run in, or if I have scheduled a marathon and I'm just gonna run it, this helps immensely. So Imodium AD before a race, about 30 minutes before a race, just chug it and go. Please read the directions. Please, just don't listen. Chug is not a proper form of measurement. Again, for you ladies, tampons, because you just never know. These don't necessarily count for races, but I have makeup removers or baby wipes. This is a godsend after you cross that finish line. Just wipe all that sweat that's turned into salt off your face. And some protein, talking about nutrition. Sorry. Talking about nutrition. Before a race, these are really cool. You just put them in your little shaker with some water or milk and drink it. During a race, there are lots of things you want to consider. Have I eaten this before? Will it upset my stomach? And will it give me the amount of energy that I need to perform for the next 60 to 3 hours? I am a huge fan, of Runner's Goo. It's basically frosting in a packet. I mean, there's other stuff in there, but it tastes like frosting. I have here Chocolate Outrage, Espresso Love, Caramel Macchiato, Vanilla whatever. It's really good. It's not frosting, but it basically does the exact same thing that frosting would do. It gives you that extra sugar rush. It gives you that extra rush of energy. This has a lot of amino acids, sodium, caffeine, and carbohydrates. They're only about 100 calories per packet, so I recommend taking these, especially on a marathon, every hour, if you can, every hour to 45 minutes. It's like when Popeye used to take that can off and eat that spinach. He's like, yeah, this is how these make me feel. So for me, this is during a race. Before a race, I unfortunately couldn't find them at Trader Joe's today. Again, Trader Joe's does not sponsor this video, but I couldn't find them there today. These are called RX bars. What I tried to eat before a race is peanut butter, bananas, and Ezekiel bread, just to make sure I'm getting enough carbs, fat, and protein to help me through the first at least 13 miles of a marathon. These are a great alternative. Basically, all it is egg whites, almonds, cashews and dates. So what I would normally eat, protein, fats, and carbs. There's more carbs in this than protein, but when you're running an endurance race, that's a little bit more important. Protein is really good for afterwards, for recovery. Basically, eat something before you run. I really don't care what it is, but something. But these are great. They're a little chewy. I don't recommend eating these during a run along with Justine's almond butter. They have little packets that look almost exactly like this. They're awesome for in-between workouts. But if you're running, they make your mouth, these and peanut butter make your mouth so dry. So you don't want to chug water while you're running. All right, so that's during your race. Again, talking about recovery, I kind of did this out of order. I might edit it, sorry, to make it a little bit more cohesive. So we talked about food, basically, that's during your race. We talked about recovery. Oh, we talked about before your race, all that. Talk about before your race, that sunscreen, that Imodium. Another thing that we're going to talk about for recovery that I have on me at all times, just in case I run awkwardly and something is super more sore than normal. These are compression sleeves. This is the front and these are the back. I buy these for my calves, so all you do, they're technically supposed to go on. I'm not going to put them on camera because it looks really awkward. They're like big socks, like tube socks. They go along your calf and they compress your muscles and kind of give an extra added support for your joints and for the surrounding muscle groups. I'm not going to try and name all the muscles right now. I love these. I don't necessarily like to run in them, but I do like to use them for recovery. Sometimes my form in my foot is a little off and I might strike more with my heel than I would with the center of my foot. So if you have an off day or if you're running long distances and you find yourself to be a little stiff or sore and there's not icy hot or a foam roller or anything around, these are a really good substitute, at least for the time being. I highly recommend stretching once your legs stop cramping and stop hurting so much, and ice baths and rest. But these are a really good alternative. I like to use them as recovery, not really during a workout, but to each their own. Another thing that I like to use is kinesiology tape, KT tape. This in no way is going to help support your knee or keep it from moving. This is basically to take the skin away from the muscle to let more blood flow go through for a quicker recovery. These are in no way meant to tape your knee up so you don't, if you've hurt your knee, if you've blown your knee out, get a brace, go to a doctor. These are just for recovery. Again, like I said, it helps the blood flow come and recuperate the muscles a little bit quicker. Again, the ultimate thing you want to do is make sure your running form is on point and that you have enough water in your system and that you're icing, resting, and recovering after any marathon. If you get hurt during a marathon, please stop, take a minute, go to the doctor, do as I say, not as I do. But these are a great way, if you're just sore, to help the soreness kind of recover a little bit quicker. Last thing I'm going to talk about, that's for recovery. Again, during a race, we're going to hop back during races. So after I'm eating my runner goo and all my dried fruit, water. Water is super important. It is very important to hydrate before your race. I highly recommend drinking at least, what is this, a liter? I drink a gallon of water the day before a race. Yes, I drink a gallon of water the day before a race. It helps immensely, that's the word of the day, immensely with cramping and muscle recovery for me. It might work out different for you, but my legs feel 1,000 times better when I take the adequate amount of water in before a race, not during a race. During a race, it's too late. It's going to slosh in your stomach, and it's not going to be fun for anybody. So in marathons, they normally have water stations and electrolyte stations every 2 to 3 miles. Me, I prefer to be in control because I can't let the control go. I like to be in control of my own water, so I run with a water backpack. It basically just goes on exactly like exactly like a backpack. This one carries, I think, 2 liters. I like to keep my hands free. You also have people who can run with water bottles. I don't know how they do that. Some people run without water at all. I don't know how they do that. But those people generally finish a marathon in like 3 hours. I'm a little bit longer than that, so I make sure that I carry my water with me. So I can get my cell phone in here. I can put my goos in here. They have a little pocket right here. whatever water pack you have that you've ran with before a marathon to make sure there's not any chafing issues, to make sure it's nice and comfortable. I'm not, let me see what, excuse me. This brand is Osprey. They don't sponsor this video. I just really like this pack. I prefer to have one that has a strap across the front, across the front here, and let's see if we can get it, across the waist, that's hot, just so it does not move. Because I don't know about you, but if you ever were in high school and you had a backpack on and you ever ran, it looked weird and felt weird. This does not look or feel weird. It stays right on my back and it doesn't move. There's not a whole lot of sloshing of the water in the pack. But this is just personal preference. Again, I don't really care what you wear or where you hold your water or your cell phone or whatever, as long as you have water or something to help you recover while you're racing. Wait, recover while you're racing. Yeah, there we go. This is just my personal preference. Again, my hands are free. I ran with everything. I ran with flip belts. I ran with fanny packs. I ran while holding everything. This is just what I found is most comfortable for me. Pop it off, put it back on. It's got magnets in it. It's pretty cool. All right, I think that about does it. I'm not gonna go over running shoes because if you have a pair of running shoes that you like the best, well, just make sure you run in them before. Make sure you've done at least 10 to 13 miles before you run any marathon in shoes. Do not go out the day before and get new shoes. It's not a good thing. I've seen it happen. I've heard it happen. I've done it before too. It's not a good thing. Oh, I totally forgot. This is gonna get a little weird. Another thing that I like to use for recovery is a foam roller. My legs were so cramped up during last weekend's marathon. Excuse me. This helped so much. It's a little mini massage for all of your muscles. Yes, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but I promise you it will help you recover so much better and take out all of those muscle cramps and all those muscle knots that lead to muscle imbalances, so you can run beautifully, stronger, and better. All right, if you have any questions on any of the crap that I showed you here, hopefully you were able to follow my timeline of recovering before racing, during racing, and recovering. Either way, I hope you have a wonderful run. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to be tougher, be stronger, be better, be a tough cookie. Thanks, guys. Bye. I have so much crap.